and Is Hayes from YouTube. Welcome to ACTM, so come on up.
Excellent. Thank you very much for the warm welcome, and I'm really happy to be here with you today. And exactly as OJ said, I'm here today to talk to you about YouTube, about influencers, about some of the big changes that we're seeing on the platform, and hopefully how some of those things can be useful to all of you. But because I am here to speak to you about the world's largest video platform, I thought that I might start by showing you rather than telling you.
To the haters, the doubters, my 7th grade vice principal. To everyone who's ever told anyone with a dream they can't. This video's for you. Keep your head down, follow the rules, do as you're told, play it safe. Wait your turn, ask permission, learn to compromise. This is terrible advice. If I were to write an autobiography, a book about my life, one title that would work would be Do What You Can't, because that idea encapsulates everything I've ever done. Like when I wanted to move to New York City and my dad was like, you can't, you don't have any money. Or when I first said I wanted to make movies and it was, you can't, you didn't go to film school. I want to have a TV show, you can't, Casey, you're not pretty enough. And to go even further, like if I were to characterize what this new generation of content creators and filmmakers, what we all do on YouTube and everywhere else is, we do what we can't. Oh my God. You can't be an action movie filmmaker, but you get your parkour friends to dress up like video game characters, jump off some buildings, and you can. Right, Devin?
Yes.
You can't have a talk show, but you have a webcam and you can.
What's up, you beautiful bastards? What?
This is my first YouTube video ever.
Next thing you know, you're interviewing the president.
I heard that you're going to be out of a job soon.
Well, maybe I'll start a YouTube show.
That's what I'm thinking.
You can't fly around New York City on a magic carpet, but get your electric skateboard, some PVC pipe, a great outfit, give Jesse a call, and you can. What do you think?
This is so dope.
You don't need gear, you don't need trucks or a crane, you don't need some big expensive camera rig that never works. When you're a creator, you don't need someone in your ear telling you what you can and can't do.
I'm racing the subway!
What you can and can't say.
I accidentally did the shocker. Oh my God.
They call us gamers, influencers, internet famous.
What the fuck does that mean?
But we know something they don't. You can start a vlog or a makeup channel. Or travel around the world with a gigantic piano playing it in beautiful places for interested people. When you're a creator, all you need is your phone, an internet connection, and a good idea. A story you want to share, something you need to say.
Confidence is within yourself.
And then the rest is history. If you do it right, you get to quit the day job, make friends from places you've never been, meetups, collaborations.
We're just 2 boys and 2 video cameras.
A life moving so fast and so full, you won't even have time to process it. So to my fellow creators, I say, keep creating, keep doing the work.
Hey guys!
And never forget, you don't have to listen to anyone, because in this new world, no one knows anything.
Hi, haters.
The haters, the doubters are all drinking champagne in the top deck of the Titanic, and we are the fucking iceberg. Do what you can't.
So that's a bit of the spirit of YouTube, and I want you to sort of keep some of that as I speak to you for the next few minutes. Okay, as I speak to you for the next few minutes. But I've also got a question for you. Can anybody tell me how long, to the nearest 30 seconds, that video was? Approximately how long do you think it was? And in fact, I'm going to sweeten my ask because I've got this, a lovely Google Home that I will give to the first person who tells me within the nearest 30 seconds, yes, I see your hand, And I will see what your answer is. If you win this, I'll go around. If you don't. 2.5 minutes, close, not quite. Next, okay, your hand was first. 3:24, that's pretty close, I'll give it to you. Can I ask you to pass this back to him? Okay, that's within 30 seconds. It's actually 3 minutes and 44 seconds long. And I think that's a really interesting starting place for us because every day, every week, there are all these studies coming out that are saying that human attention spans, because we see so many ads and we see so many constant pieces of content throughout our day, that our attention spans are shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and getting shorter and shorter. And so I read a study last week that said that now the average human attention span is 9 seconds, which is 1 second less than a goldfish. And I was kind of shocked. I was shocked and appalled. But what I think is interesting about that is that we, all of us, just watched a video that was almost 4 minutes long, and most people weren't really aware of that as they were watching it, right? And that's something that we very much tend to see on YouTube, and that's the reality. That's the difference between the science and our actual behavior. Because all of us, if it's the right story, are willing to forget time. How many people in the room binge watch? Right. So that's a lot longer than 9 seconds, right? So if it's the right story, we will watch it and we will engage with it and we'll forget all about exactly how long it is because we're so wrapped up in that moment. And that's the power that YouTube brings to your stories. And so this is something that every month we put out something called our ads leaderboard. So I work with consumer packaged goods and automotive brands, and every month and every year what we do is we tell everybody for free. I actually recommend all of you look at it because you can start to spot some interesting themes in terms of what people are interested in. But it's just a list of the top 10 most highly viewed ads of that month and of that year. And when I did it for last year, the average length of the top most viewed ads, this is advertising, was 191 seconds. So that's longer than 3 minutes. That is 3 times longer than the longest ad spot that you could buy on television, even with an unlimited budget. And that's, I think, an incredible testament to the fact that when we really like something and it's put in front of us in the right way, we will engage in it. And it brings me to this. So last week was something called the Cannes Lions, which is exactly like the Cannes Film Festival, except for advertising. It's the festival of creativity for ads. And this is a quote from Ian Tate, who is the global creative director of Wieden & Kennedy, which is one of the largest creative agencies in the world. And what he says about YouTube is that because of the size of the audience and the variety of content and all of the ideas circulating, YouTube is becoming the place where new ideas are born. It's like a culture engine for the 21st century. So I've got 3 things that I'd like to talk to you about today for the next few minutes. The first one is around community and thinking about how is it that you can use YouTube, how is it that you can use everything that you take from today, from all of the speakers, to help your audience, help the people you're trying to speak to actually find you. And the second thing is insight. When it comes to, especially with YouTube, what are the tools that are available to you and how can you really use them to build that connection, the connection that we just had when we were watching that video and very into it and entertained by it. How can you use the tools to build that connection? And the third thing is around impact. How can you and your communities and your towns and cities think about YouTube and think about using digital platforms to really stand out and thrive? And how can you start to understand and build a home on YouTube? Starting with this. The good news is that you have many, many, many pioneers who have led the way. So there are many people out there who are already doing this. And one of them is obviously James Charles. I know that he was invited. Is anyone here from Birmingham? Did I get bonus points for my accurate pronunciation, Birmingham, instead of Birmingham, despite being from California? All right, so James Charles is fascinating because he's the first male global ambassador for CoverGirl Cosmetics. He has 15.5 million subscribers to his YouTube channel. He has had over 1.5 billion views of videos on his channel. And he's a remarkable person because he's 19 years old this year. So he started all of this when he was around 16 years old. And he's become incredibly successful, but I think it's also interesting when we think about communicating effectively with younger groups of people and how there are a lot of groundbreakers who are changing the way that we perceive who should be doing what, which is why I started with Do What You Can't, right? There's no reason to believe, and actually he has helped demonstrate the fact that women will buy makeup and take makeup tips from a man, and that men are interested in makeup. And I think that one of the most amazing things that a lot of the top influencers and the top content creators on YouTube are doing for us is building a more inclusive world, but also really changing the way that we think and changing perceptions about what we can and can't do and who should and shouldn't be conveying a message. And there are lots of them. So Nick touched on the importance of kids. On the left, you have Ryan, who has a channel, Ryan's Toy Reviews, 30 billion views in his channel. He's 7 years old. His family made $22 million last year based on his channel. He's 7. So if that doesn't put all of us to shame, I don't know what is. And he's actually just a little kid talking to other little kids. So you can see him there. It's just children talking to children. Salman Khan, is anybody familiar with the Khan Academy? Khan Academy, again, I definitely recommend, okay, there's a nod, exactly. It's amazing, right? It's brilliant. So Salman Khan, 1.6 billion views of his channel. He has a channel that started because he was based here. He was studying here in the UK, and he had cousins living in Louisiana in the US, and he wanted to give them math tutorials. And so posting them on YouTube was just an easy way for him to do that. He now has 1.6 billion views, and I checked the stats. He gets more views of his science content right now, as of last month, than the BBC. In the UK, he gets more views of Khan Academy than the Open University, which is an actual university. So the power of these pieces of content being put out there in front of the audience that wants them is pretty much endless. And then on the right here, I have Cassette Boy, because obviously we're currently living in a world of politics, like it or not. And Cassette Boy is brilliant, 44 million views, but I highly recommend that you all check this out as well, just for entertainment purposes. What he does is he takes news stories and he remixes them to music. So he did a brilliant one on Jeremy Hunt from a year or so ago, where he remixed it to YMCA. And it's just YMCA is a backing tune to various snippets of Jeremy Hunt's speeches, and it's brilliant. So when you're feeling drowned by politics, check out Cassette Boy. And the reason that these people are so successful is that there are 3 primary drivers for everyone coming to YouTube. No. Okay. I'm going to keep the handheld. So people are coming to YouTube for these primary reasons. We want information, we want education, and we want entertainment. And where you see people cutting through and really standing out on YouTube is where they are providing at least 2 of these. And I think that especially when you think about information and education, that very much suits with everyone here in the room. And I'm going to show you what that can mean for a community.
My name is Jenny Doan, and I'm a quilter, and I'm a mother, and I'm a grandmother. 2008 was when all the markets crashed. We lost our retirement. Hamilton was losing hope, and my husband and I were losing hope.
My sister and I, we challenged ourselves to help figure out a way to help them. We found this building. It was an old auto showroom.
Our kids bought us a quilt machine.
Everything that's been made in here has been made by my own hands.
We were just a cute little shop, just like everybody else.
It was very humble beginnings. One day Al came in and asked me if I wanted to do tutorials, and I was like, sure, honey, what's a tutorial? I had not a clue.
YouTube gave us the opportunity to really differentiate. We got to 1,000 subscribers year 1. And then the next year we got to 10,000 subscribers, 25, and then 50, and then now we're at 300,000 subscribers.
Hi everybody, I'm Jenny from the Missouri Star Quilt Company.
We started carrying all the fabrics that Mom would use in the tutorials.
Alan said, well, I think I'm going to buy another one of these buildings and put that fabric in there because we need more room.
So now we're the world's largest provider of pre-cut quilting fabric.
We have the best employees ever. Over 200 people.
In the beginning, we were just shipping 10 orders a day.
Now we ship 5,000 orders a day.
Opening a business in Hamilton kind of sparked things.
We've got 14 quilt shops in town, 3 restaurants, a little hotel. It's this whole quilting Disneyland in Hamilton, Missouri. We had over 100,000 people come to Hamilton last year.
Oh, we love Jenny.
My whole life, I've always wanted to own a business, and none of that would be possible without the Missouri Star Quilt Company.
All I have to do is open my door and bake my goods, and Missouri Star does the rest.
YouTube has enabled my family and I to bring hope to the town and to the people who live here. So I got a letter from a lady who lived in Iran, and she ended her letter to me by saying, "You have filled my war-torn life with color." I just wept at my sewing machine, and Al came in and he's like, "Mom, are you okay?" And I said, "Al, I just thought I was sewing. I had no idea how huge this was." The growth of Missouri Star Quilt Company is the sweetest, most serendipitous thing that's ever happened to us.
And that's the power of community. So the YouTube community has 2 billion active users in it every single month. The average session length is 45 minutes here in the UK, and 50% of all of those views are coming from mobile. So that brings me to number 2, which I am going to speed through a tiny bit in the interest of time. I see Jenny looking at me at the back. How do you use the tools to make a connection? How can we help you do that? So what I'm looking at here is something called Google Trends. This is free, it's public, everybody should be using this all of the time, because if you want to find out what it is that people are interested in, this is the fastest and the easiest way to do this. This is a screen grab of the rise in searches for near me as a term. So this is one of the main things that people are looking at when they're thinking about different areas and different communities. How can I find services near me? And just being able to go and find out what it is that people are interested in means that you can be very, very savvy about the information that you put out and make sure that you're the ones who are answering the biggest and the most important questions that people are asking. Similarly, you can learn from brands here. So this is a very quick example about ombre hair. This is something that, that L'Oreal found in terms of the searches, similarly to near me. These were the searches for ombre hair, which at the time was a rising trend where women were looking for ombre hair, which is the sort of dip dye technique. They created a product around it because there were so many searches that were happening. Similarly with P&G, I see a little bit of this trend happening in the room here. P&G own, Procter & Gamble own Gillette, and there is a very big, significant change in men's grooming habits that has happened in the last few years that changed their business entirely, which is, yes, I see you nodding, exactly, beards. So they used Google Trends to look at, okay, so our sales of razors are dropping year on year on year to the point where they were the lowest in 50 years. What can we do about that? The business is failing. And what they found, looking at Google Trends, is actually, whilst people might not be shaving their chins, what you have is a rise in men wanting to shave all kinds of other things. So wanting to shave, which I won't go into in any grave detail, don't worry. But it's an interesting thing, because this is just like James Charles, this is a really recent but huge trend, right? Men now want to shave their chests, they want to shave their back, they want to shave all kinds of things that they maybe won't ask their friends how to do. And Gillette, as a brand, stood up and answered those questions for them, and they now sell more razors than ever before, because actually the kinds of razors that men might use to do those things led to an increased product line as well. So there's a lot that you can get from using these insights. I have a very short video from Lynx. I'm looking at the back of the room. This is quite a short one. I will just show you what this actually can mean when you change the way. Lynx is a brand that I see everybody in the room is familiar with. And when I first moved to the UK, I think the women are sort of rolling their eyes about Lynx as a brand. When I first moved to the UK, their entire value proposition was around help young guys pick up chicks, help young guys pick up women. If you wear this fragrance, the women will be hypnotized and all of the women will come. And so they actually started looking at, whilst that might be what they want to say as a brand, what is it that young men want to hear? How do men want to be spoken to? And this is what they came up with, which was a very significant step change for them. might not be able to show you guys that one. I can send it as follow-up. I'll talk you through it instead as we're... Oh. Sorry, OJ. And I'm stepping on your time as well.
Is it okay to be skinny?
Possible, mate. What was that?
Is it okay to not like sport?
Is it okay to be a virgin?
To experiment with other guys.
Is it okay for guys to wear pink? To be nervous?
To have long hair?
To like cats? To take a selfie?
To shave you?
To be depressed?
To be scared?
Wait, is it okay for me to be the little spoon?
Is it okay?
Come on, man.
Is it okay? Go online to search and see for yourself.